Welcome back to Coding the Sounds of Music. This video will be the metronome and tempo. Take a moment to get your TI Nspire CX2 calculator connected to your TI Nspire hub using the unit-to-unit cable, and then make sure that you're on the page for Activity 2 background. Use the click pad to the left and to the right to navigate among the pages of the TNS file. Pause your video now and resume when you're ready to go. A song is written on a piece of sheet music that has staffs where notes have been placed that tell the musician which frequency to play on their instrument and for how long. A piece of music can be played at a particular pace. It can be played quickly or it can be played slowly. Usually the composer has a particular pace in mind. This pace is called the tempo of the song. And the tempo of the song is the number of beats per minute. This is really how you tap your foot. Think about a piece of music that you're keeping time with, one of your favorite songs, and think about how you might tap your foot to kind of stay in time with that piece of music. Well, that's the tempo. Most of the time, a song is played at a particular tempo, and it's set by the composer. However, sometimes musicians will play a song at a faster tempo if they want a desired effect of fast, or they can slow it down if they want to kind of mellow it out. A musician can learn and hear and feel tempo using a device called a metronome. A metronome is a kind of box that has it's a pendulum. It's a swinging bar, but really it's a pendulum. A pendulum is a heavy weight that's suspended on the end of a wire, the type of thing that's in, for example, a grandfather clock, and it swings back and forth with a regular rhythm and period of time. This is exactly why pendulums are used in grandfather clocks, because it's the pendulum that really sets the time base for the clock to keep time. It turns out that, like a swing at the playground, that's a pendulum. And if you think about a swing at a playground, when you push someone who is on the swing, they swing back and forth with a particular frequency. Or another way of looking at it is to go back and forth takes a certain amount of time. That time is called the period. Well, you may not have noticed this, but you really cannot change the period of time for a swing set. If you push harder, the effect is that person swings higher, but the period of time that it takes for them to come back to your hands to push again remains the same regardless of how hard you push. The only way to change the frequency or period of the swing is to shorten the chains. Like, for example, you could kind of wrap the chains a couple of times around the top of the supporting swing set, and that makes a shorter swing. And then when you get on there and swing, it goes much faster. Short swings swing quickly, while long swing sets swing slowly. It has nothing to do with how hard you push. All that does is puts more energy into the swing and makes you go higher. So the period is the time that it takes for it to swing back and forth. Well, a metronome also has a period because, really, it's kind of an upside down pendulum or swing set that's driven by a spring. The tempo of a piece of music is measured in beats per minute. And so that beats per minute is the time period for a piece of music. So you might keep rhythm to something. That knocking on my table was me kind of trying to keep rhythm of a song. That's what the beats per minute is. It's how many of those knocks happen in 60 seconds. So if we were to start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the number of those knocks per minute is the beats per minute. Well, that's exactly what a metronome does for a musician. It helps them to hear and feel what a particular tempo is, so that when they compose their song, they can put the right pace in there. Or if you're a musician playing a song, it helps you to keep pace to make sure that you're playing at the speed the composer wanted the song to be played at. Many different songs have different tempos, and that tempo typically is written on the piece of music up at the top someplace. Oftentimes, most music is played around 120 beats per minute. Well, we're going to explore the metronome in greater detail on the next page. There's a simulation of a metronome, and you can change its beats per minute or period by changing the length of the pendulum. Let's navigate to the next page, Control, ClickPad to the right. This page describes the simulation of the metronome. You'll notice there's an arm that swings back and forth. The time that is required to swing back and forth is the period of that pendulum. Notice there's a mass on the arm that can be adjusted up or down. When the mass is low and the pendulum is short, notice the tempo goes up. When the mass is moved up and the pendulum is long, notice the tempo goes down. Try tapping your foot to the tempo as you try different settings on the metronome. I'm going to give you time to experience the simulation on your own. So I'll show you how to get started, but then I want you to pause the video and try several different situations. Let's go to the next page. And to run the simulation, press Ctrl-R. You can see the pendulum is oscillating back and forth with a period of time for 100 beats per minute. You can change the tempo by using the trackpad. Move your finger around and hover over the tempo clicker. Click up or down to change the tempo. I want you to now explore the pendulum and the metronome and learn how the metronome keeps the rhythm of a song. Pause your video now and resume when you're finished. I'm going to press the escape key to exit the simulation, and then I'll have to press enter on my calculator one more time to return to the show. I hope you found that simulation interesting. In that simulation, you learned that tempo is how musicians keep the pace of music. It's the tap of your foot. And a metronome is a device that musicians use to try and test different tempos for the pace of their music. A metronome is really just a pendulum that is run by a wound-up spring. When the pendulum is short, the frequency is fast and the tempo goes up. When the pendulum is long, the tempo goes down. And so by adjusting the length of the pendulum on the metronome, a composer and musician can explore different tempos just like you did. Well, this concludes our video on the metronome and tempo. Please stay tuned for the next video on coding the sounds of music, calculating, beats per minute. I'll see you there.